could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could. Yeah, times are changing everywhere. Do we dream and do we dare? It's up to you, the door is open wide. Feel the rhythm of today, learn the part and join the play. The world is here, let's take it for a ride. You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could. Larger, larger than, bigger, bigger than, living hopes and dreams. Every boy and girl, higher, higher than, brighter, brighter than, all you wanted. You know, you could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You can have all you ever wanted. Hopes and dreams, every boy. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted. You know you could.
Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. Grand Colombia. Welcome to another Coffee Time Live. And yes, I'm a little scatterbrained. I'll tell you about it. Temperature, don't know, didn't check. It's probably about 75 or so. I did check on the peso. It got down to 38.14 this week. Seems to be edging its way up, but who knows? Colombia has been paying off some of its debt because of the weakness of the US dollar. So a combination of the weak dollar and Colombia paying off debt, which strengthens the peso. And this is what you get. Okay. Let's take a look outside. Looking pretty nice. Low hanging cloud as usual. Every once in a while we get no clouds, and that's a rarity. Not feeling great. Some of you know, I had to go to emergency yesterday, and because the blood spinner thing broke down, they said it was going to be another 6 hours before my results came back. And I didn't want to wait another 6 hours, so they let me sign myself out. I just had to sign a paper taking responsibility for myself. Came home and fell asleep, and I just quickly run down. Don't make guesses what's wrong, because it probably won't be correct. And don't make a lot of messages to me, because frankly I'm just too tired to write. I'm only responding to a selected few. Because it's exhausting. I'm putting everything as an update on my Facebook page, and so you can see it there. I couldn't sleep for the previous 2 nights. First night, I just kind of chalked it up to that. It happens sometimes. The second night, I couldn't sleep. I was just really uncomfortable. I couldn't breathe right. I felt very weird. And it felt serious enough where I figured I better go to the emergency room. And I waited till about 5 o'clock to make the final decision in the morning. And I took a shower, got dressed, and showed up at the hospital just after 6 o'clock. I checked in really quick. They put me in a little room and took my blood pressure, which was, I didn't even know blood pressure goes that high because I've never really had big problems with blood pressure, but it was 207 over 127. And that's like, I think more than double. Yeah, it's more than double than the highest I'd ever had on both numbers. So it was pretty crazy. So then they uh, laid me down and put leads on my ankles and my arms and clipped all over my body. And it was an EKG. So they took an EKG, they ran it, and then they looked at it and they stopped and ran it again. And it was about 10 minutes worth of EKGing. And it's because they thought, they thought, just like I kind of thought, maybe I was having some kind of heart issue. There's a lot of pressure on my chest, couldn't breathe. But the EKG came back strong, regular, normal, healthy. And I've never had any heart issues, so I guess it didn't surprise me. It's just, it seemed like the easiest thing to kind of blame the, what was going on. So then I go back and see the doctor, and she checks a few things and asks me a lot of questions. And she said that she was going to give me, now, I was very fuzzy minded. I still am, but it was really bad yesterday. Very dizzy, couldn't think very well. I lost my Spanish completely. I just couldn't put it together. But we got through it, and it turned out she could speak a little English. She just wasn't comfortable doing it. And she said that she was going to give me an injection to see if it would help relieve the pressure on my chest. I don't know if she ever told me what the name was. And I said, well, what will that mean? She goes, well, it'll be one thing I can eliminate. Okay, you're the doctor. And so they took me back in this room that had a whole bunch of these big black reclining armchairs. And people were in there with IVs hooked up. Well, they stabbed my hand and had this little mini IV, and something was written on it. I think it was whatever drug was in that, because I looked at other people's IVs and they all had something written, but it wasn't the same thing. So they put that IV in me, and my blood pressure, I'm assuming, was coming down because I started to feel more normal and I started breathing easier. So I don't know what that's about, and you'll see why. And then they came over and they took a vial of blood out of the same thing that the IV was hooked in and sent me back to go wait. They said it'll be 2 or 3 hours for the lab to process the blood. Apparently, it's routine for them to take blood tests on everybody in emergency. And it's also, instead of getting shots, judging from all the people sitting there with these little tiny IV bags, it's not really about the intravenous saline solution. It's more about, it's the way they're delivering whatever drug somebody needs, which I'd never really seen that before. I don't know, maybe it makes sense. They're doing the blood draw at the same time, so I don't know, but that's what happened. So I go back and I sit. Nurse comes out 2-3 hours later. It was 12 o'clock. And she said, we need to get another blood sample. We lost yours. Not lost as in perdido, but lost as in broken or something. Okay, so I go back and they take more blood. Took kind of like double the amount. And I know this is a long story and I'm just probably boring you to tears, but I'm going to get all these questions and I'm almost done with it. So I'm just trying to get it out of the way. So, because people write, they're concerned. It's just that there's a lot of people that I know and replying is, it's just like, yesterday in the hospital, my phone went dead from all the replying I was doing. And if I really needed something, so I just have to be careful. So that's why I'm telling you the story. So anyway, they took the blood, and then somebody that I knew, I hadn't seen in a couple of years, this girl, she saw my Facebook thing, said, "Can I come visit you?" And I said, "Well, I'm in the emergency room. I'll be there." Whatever. I just wasn't in the mood to argue. So she showed up and just say, how you doing, like that. And she just sat there for a while, and it was, it was no problem. It was interesting seeing her, but I was still kind of fuzzy brained. So anyway, they came and said that the machine had broken down, and it was going to be another 6 hours before my second blood sample would be processed for them to know where to go. Because it appears it probably isn't a heart issue, and it's a possibly maybe some kind of infection issue. And which is interesting because I have a few other symptoms, but Mike Jarvis was telling me he went through almost the same thing. They thought he had a heart thing, and it turned out to be some kind of infection, and it cured him. So I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know. I don't know at this point. But I did know that I'd already been sitting there since 6:30 in the morning, except to go get the blood thing and then come back. And these are hard plastic chairs, except for when I had the IV. That was awesome. But that's just a short period of time. And so picturing another 6 hours, I hadn't eaten since the afternoon of the day before. No, Thursday afternoon. I went in yesterday, Saturday. So I hadn't eaten, hadn't slept. I was really tired. I was a little bit hungry, but I didn't want to sit there. And so I said that to the girl who doesn't speak any English, but she was pretending to be a translator. I don't know what that was about. So anyway, she goes and tells them that I wanted to check out to go get lunch. So they took the IV thing out, and they put the little tablet on there, or the little white towelette, whatever the thing they put on you. And it was really weird because I'm holding it down, and it's leaking. So I go back in the room where they do it, and he pulls it off, and it was like a big gob of blood, and it just ran off my hand and onto the floor all over the place. And he threw a couple on there and gave me some paper towels. That was kind of bizarre. But anyway, so I go to check out, and I have insurance, so they make sure that if you owe anything. Well, apparently going to the emergency, I didn't even have a copay. So, they give me a paper. I check out with a guard. He unlocks the door. I can go out. And I went over to where we do the coffee meeting. And I get a bowl of tomato soup, which was quite good. But they threw a bunch of stuff in it. They put cheese in it, like they put everything in. I just wasn't in the mood for that. But the soup itself was really good. I couldn't quite finish it all because, I don't know, I'm just on edge. And so then I've still got hours to go, and I decided I'm just going to go home and sit down and wait. At least I'll be comfortable. So I come home. I get here 2:30 or 3:30, I'm not sure. I sat down and promptly passed out. I mean, passed out as in I fell asleep. And I woke up, I think it was about 8 o'clock. So it was long past when I was supposed to be back. And I decided I'm sleeping. I need more sleep. So I just continued. I slept, woke up at 2 o'clock, went back to sleep, woke up at 4 o'clock, and laid in bed thinking. And 4:30, I got up and did a few things for this. So that's where we're at. My doctor, she's out of town. She's been messaging, asking a lot of questions. She's keeping in touch, but she's not here. I feel better than yesterday, but I'm not normal. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this is happening, but it doesn't seem like ultimately it's going to be as serious as I thought it might be. So that's good. All right. So let me quickly go down through comments. This is going to be an abridged version of Coffee Time, but I do have something. It's probably stupid even doing this, but I feel like I can, and then I'll go to the hospital. But there's a couple important things, particularly if you live here, that I wanted to tell you about because of the new year. So I got Juka, Happy New Year. Thank you. Rob, Happy New Year. Thank you. Contribution from Yuka and Jerry. Thank you very much. Please be aware this will be, oh, that was me, a short coffee time. Chad, praying it's a quick resolution. Lauren, sending good vibes. I think I felt them, but they're being interfered with by all the radical lefties there. John Sawicki, morning all, healthy and productive 2024. Turtle, Feliz Año Nuevo, the daily grind. Yeah. Healing vibes to you from Finland. Thank you, Juka. Turtle, yeah, Turtle wants some vibes too. Wait, why'd you get double vibes? Sebastian from Danbury, Connecticut. How you doing? Sorry, not boring. Well, on this end, it's boring. Keep it coming. It's interesting. Okay. I'll be in Armenia in 2 weeks. Hopefully we can meet up, be safe. I'll be fine. I really am very confident that I'm going to be. I imagine that blood pressure is going to have to come down or something's going to have to bust. I mean, is there such a thing as a blood vessel bursting? It just seemed like awful high. I was kind of freaking out. I thought the machine was wrong, but they did it several times. Ben Lake, good morning. How about them Cowboys? I take it they won. Turtle, you've never been normal. Who? Cliff, praying for you. Hope 2024 is great and healthy for you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Good morning from Los Angeles, Michael Meyer. Okay. So let me get on to the topics that I think are kind of important. I threw this first one in. It's from Ecuador, and I just found it kind of curious. It made the headlines here. Criminal was going to throw a bomb and it exploded in his hand, causing his death. There's actually a video clip, but YouTube probably censor me. Oh, you know, last week I did that song Feliz Navidad, and YouTube banned me from Russia for playing that song. So my videos that video cannot be seen in Russia. I have no idea how that makes any sense, but so be it. Anyway, this guy was all kinds of PO'd at this little store, and they say that it was made up of dynamite. So apparently he took a dynamite stick and made himself a hand grenade. And he didn't do a very good job, obviously, because as he was trying to throw it into the store, it blew up and blew him up into a million pieces. So there's probably some moral in there. All right, here's the things that I think is important for you to know. Bus fare in Armenia will increase by 300 pesos. I think that's now 2,800. I haven't taken a bus in forever. When I came here 5 years ago, it was 1,800. I think it's 2,800 now. Also, the local buses, like if you take a bus to Circassia or Salento or something like that, those fares have also increased as of the 1st. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And finally, they kind of skipped a year, but here's taxis. The minimum taxi ride increases in Armenia. The minimum right now is 5,000 pesos, and it's going up 10%. It will be 5,500 pesos as the minimum. And that means Saturday or Sunday and holidays and nights will also go up. So there'll be probably somewhere around 6,000. There's a chart. I just didn't have the energy to go look for it. Believe me, this is all I could pull out of my butt. So understand taxes are going up, and you can no longer pay the minimum with a 5,000 peso bill. You would now have to have a little change with it. And the last one is the minimum wage. It's increasing by 12%. It's going to 1,300,000. And this auxiliary transport, if you're an employee, you also get reimbursed this amount of money for transport, bus, taxi, whatever. If you're a legal employee. If you're working under the table, obviously you're not. And so it's a total of almost 1,500,000. So that's a pretty hefty increase. But understand, I have to point this out all the time. This is a minimum salary. This is not what you think of as minimum wage. Minimum salary is an amount that's calculated by the government in order to base certain surcharges, fees, and taxes on. So if you're caught speeding, you might have to pay as a fine 3 times the minimum salary, just as an example. So it's a legal numerical number because everything is based on quantities of minimum salary. However, that does mean that there are people that will be working at this minimum. But the majority of people do not. And that's what's misunderstood, because people, I see it all the time. It just doesn't, I'll see it. Somebody's been corrected, and that same person who has been corrected will still repeat the wrong information a week later. Minimum salary is not where everybody lives. Most people live at a median, a moderate, average income, which is more than this. So it's not a situation of, oh, these poor people, they all live at $200 or $300 a month, and therefore I should be able to live there at $500 a month. Well, it's not like that. In the US, how well can you live on minimum wage? Can you pay your rent? Can you pay your utilities? Can you put gas in your car? Can you have a car? So, think about that. People aren't here on that. Or if that were the case, you wouldn't have all this traffic clogging up all the cities. Who owns all those cars? It's people that are not earning minimum wage. So the majority of people are not at $300 a month trying to survive. And also keep in mind that the society here is, they've got families, they've got friends, they help each other. So you're not alone. In the US, we tend to be, most people are just a man on an island. And, if you're struggling, you don't really have much to turn to unless you want to submit yourself to the government and beg for welfare or something. So try to keep this in perspective and what the purpose of the minimum salary is. For example, if you have a pension visa, you have to have an income of at least 3 times the minimum salary. So in 2024, it'll be based on this, and so you've got a new amount. All right. Beat that drum. As bad as I feel, I still have the energy for that, I guess. John, Montana, get a chance to go live with you, but I just popped by. Hope you feel better with your blood pressure, praying alive, and don't get discouraged. Not discouraged at all, feeling good in that sense. I can live on minimum wage in the US if I work 3 jobs. Yeah, that's about right. So, you may have 95% of the gringos in Colombia are thinking about coming to Colombia, thinking about this in the wrong way. Hopefully people that watch this channel will have a clear understanding of what it's about and what it means. And stop treating people like they're your poor pet dog. Okay. Last thing I got a little dizzy. Last thing I have is the new channel that I will be ready for. And I plan on working the bugs out in January and be ready on February. Trying to find a name for the channel. I ran a poll on the YouTube homepage under community, where you put the notes. And I also ran one on Adventure in Grand Colombia Facebook page. And don't have a lot of people on these. I think a total between the two of maybe 40 people. But the first one is the Facebook page, and the leading name is Explore Colombian Coffee. The upside of that is it has Colombian and coffee in the name, which is better than most of these. You got Coffeetopia Colombia, or Cafe Topia Colombia. Coffee Adventures. I kind of like that one, but it doesn't have Colombia in it. Colombian Chica and Coffee. Coffee Curious. Nobody liked that one. Tasting Colombia's Coffee Triangle. And Tasting Colombia. Problem with Tasting Colombia is that could be pretty much anything. All right. And the other one is Explore Colombian Coffee. It's also the winner on that poll. Probably go there. Coffee Adventures, Colombian Chica and Coffee. It was a runner-up. Coffee Curious, Tasting Colombia's Coffee Triangle. And so there's that. Coleman, Happy New Year's from the Philippines. Speaking of hot, somebody wrote me, and I just glanced at it. It was something about not taking my advice, and he's now in the Philippines. It wasn't you. It was now in the Philippines, and it was hot as hell. You think? I don't know who that was. There may be more to that note. Hello from Agua Chica. All right. So that's all I got today. I'm feeling a little dizzy. So if I live in a cooler climate than yours. Baguio? Not cooler. Anything else before I go? Gotta go before I pass out. I'm feeling probably lay down for a few minutes before I go get in a taxi cab. If I were in a Colombian hospital watching some of those nurses walking by, my blood pressure would go up too. You should. I didn't have a way to do it, but the doctor, this chick was one of the hottest chicks I've seen since I've been here. Somewhere in her 20s. She's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Perfect shape. You know, I like them thinner. It's a high of 75 every day and a low of 60 at night. It's perfect weather. Well, that's what it is here most of the time. All right, I'm gonna end it here. I apologize. I probably shouldn't even have done this, but you're always there for me. But mostly, I wanted to tell you all in a group the information, so you don't have to text me. I really appreciate it. I mean, I do. But if you're on my end and you're looking at this, it's kind of daunting. And like I said, I'm going back. I don't want my battery to get run dead again, where I just kind of repeat the same thing. If I had the wits about me, I might have just created a group out of the WhatsApps that I was getting, but I'm also getting them in Facebook. I'm getting them I'm getting messages in my email. So you don't have to. I will let you know, I promise. And with that, Happy New Year. I'm happy that I'm going to be living to the next one along with you guys. I will See you next week. Ciao.